Hey, Kevin Martin here, your UT admissions guy, filming from the South Pacific in the Kingdom of Tonga, which is my Friday afternoon and roughly Thursday evening in the United States. So I was not anticipating CAP decisions to go out on a Thursday night. That's like the first time I think ever that that's happened. So I was a little bit caught off guard. I was driving a scooter around, saw a bunch of emails from people that received disappointing news. So I literally pulled over my scooter and film this video from here because I wanted to get this out. I was anticipating it to be my Saturday morning, your Friday evening. So I'm using like a selfie video on top of a rock. So I apologize for the quality and the lighting, but the sound should be okay. So I'm uploading this unedited. And the first thing I want to say for those of you that have received disappointing news, I'm sorry to hear that you didn't gain admission to UT Austin. I know for thousands of students, it's their top choice, their dream school from childhood. So I know that the disappointment stings and it hurts. And I'm sorry to hear that you didn't receive news, especially after quite a long wait. It seemed like UT did things a little bit different this year in terms of how they released and rolled out their decisions. They started this wave system probably 5 or 6 years ago in order to jump on the recruitment for enrolled students that they really want to recruit to enroll at UT Austin. So instead of releasing everything in one big batch, they've done it in smaller waves, starting I think this year in late November. They did 1 or 2 releases in December, including honors decisions. And then the last 2 weeks I feel like have been especially stressful for students. I feel like more emails than usual from worried parents, students, even some high school teachers have emailed me asking if I know anything, and I know nothing. There was a lot of speculation online in terms of when decisions are going to be released, and the reality is nobody knows. Nobody did know. There was a lot of I feel like especially on Reddit this year, I even saw the moderators trying to put a lid on some of the speculation about who's going to get rejected and when are we going to find out. And because UT didn't communicate anything with anybody this year, there was no campus to counselor newsletter like they did in years past saying here's a wave and here's what we expect, here's how many decisions there are to be rolled out. And so the last week or two, I know when your friends are finding out and your classmates, and you're seeing this on social media, and even on Reddit when people are announcing that they gained admission, that's great. But also you also have to take it for a grain of salt what people are reporting online. There's a lot of credential inflation in terms of students, saying that they have this rank and this test score, and you just don't know. A lot of students are honest, but sometimes they're not. There was definitely some rumors that were out there that weren't true. So I know that this is a really anxious time, especially because it's so hard to get quality information. And people are coming to me because they see me as a source of knowledge and an authority on this topic. But I'll be the first one to say that I just don't know a lot about why UT does things the way that they do each year, because it really does change from year to year, and it's hard to predict which majors are going to be more or less competitive until all the information is out. But even still, we won't even know how many students were applied, admitted, the average test scores and so on until a year and a half from now, when UT is obliged to do these common data sets where they report all of this information. So I think even from last fall 2019, I'm not even sure that report is available yet. So we just don't know. So even though I've published this long book, I have all these blog posts and videos in terms of why things happen in the present moment. It's just unclear until UT decides to communicate those things in a transparent way. So I will share with you what I do know. For those of you that gained admission, congratulations. I hope UT is a top choice for you. It's a great university, and I hope that you find it a rewarding experience should you choose to enroll. For those admitted students who are still waiting on honors decisions, I believe most of the programs, touring, business honors, Plan 2, I think LAH has also already released some decisions. I haven't seen anything out there about Dean Scholars, Health Science honors, engineering honors. They usually wait until February in order to release most or all of their decisions. So for those of you still waiting on honors, hold tight. Hopefully you'll get some news here in the coming weeks. For a small change, touring offered a few interviews this year. I have no idea what that's about. It's the first year that touring has done any interviews at all. I haven't seen anything public about that process. BHP, to my knowledge, I don't know if they're still releasing any interviews. I know in the last week, the week before, BHP did give out some interviews. So I want to film this video. I'll upload it here shortly as soon as I have internet, just sharing a little bit about this year. It seems like, of course, things are super competitive. Last year, there was about 53,000 applications for around 17,000 spaces. This year, I've heard some speculation, some rumors that they may receive 58 or upwards of 60,000 applications. So if they admitted around 17 or 18,000 students, that puts us in an admissions rate around 27 or 28%. Last year, the out-of-state admissions rate was less than 10%. For students not in the top 6%, the admissions rate is less than 15%, so it wouldn't surprise me if that's even in the low teens or even 10% for those of you outside of the automatic admissions range. Especially computer science was super hard this year. I saw students, including clients of my own, that were top 5% with 35s and 36s not gaining admission. Mechanical engineering, aerospace engineering were also very competitive. It seemed like this year civil engineering and also petroleum were a little bit less competitive than usual. Aerospace engineering seems super hard to get into. That had been one of the less popular majors in years past. But again, you just can't really predict this stuff. Liberal arts also seem to be a little bit competitive. One theory I have about why students outside the top 6% and out-of-state students who might have been admitted to liberal arts in previous years were not finding success is because that's the only college or school that's guaranteed under top 6%, and those students that were not given their first or second choice major were given a list of options in liberal arts with which to choose from. There was also some engineers who got civil engineering even though they didn't ask for it. So again, like, you just never know what's going to happen. I'm not sure if all the decisions have been released yet, so I think that's something that we'll have to see in the coming days. But again, this message is for students that are weighing a cap offer, deciding whether to submit an appeal or not. I've written like this super long post on my blog, both for appeals and for transfers. I have a transfer guide and an appeals guide. I have shared literally everything I know about appeals. I have no secrets. I have no tips to offer. Nobody has any secrets. Nobody has any inside information. Because there was hundreds of students that were admitted on appeals last year, there's going to be a lot of students that are hoping that happens this year. I have no idea if appeals is going to be an appeals lottery. Truly, nobody knows that. Even UT counselors themselves on the ground often don't know what's going on because middle and senior management don't communicate to the frontline people. So if you're deciding whether to call your admissions counselor or not, you're welcome to call them. I can guarantee you they have little to no power to reverse your admissions decision. Of course, you're welcome to appeal. I think the appeals portal is already open. Appealing has much more to do with the needs of a university than it does with the individual merits of an appeals case itself. I discussed this thoroughly in the appeals post. So this year, I want to be clear. I'm not offering any appeals services. I'm not offering phone calls. I'm not offering help on your appeals essay. I'm also not doing any transfer consultation until students have graduated from high school. There's literally no value that I can add. Ethically, it's like kind of irresponsible for me to take money for an appeal, which is weighing on the disappointment of families when there's literally nothing that I can do. I've shared everything I know publicly. Last year, there was a lot of like bad faith actors and honestly like charlatans and snake oil salesmen who I think especially in the Houston area were running around telling people that they have some like secret knowledge to get into appeals, charging family like tons of money, and families are really like willing to pay that. I've already had families asking me and offering me to pay like a lot of money. I'm just not going to do it. So be very skeptical, very suspicious of anybody out there that says they have appeal secrets. I just have to believe that they don't have your best interest or intentions in mind, because at the end of the day, if you appeal, it might work, whether someone helps you or not. So if you want to appeal, just do it. Whether you want to submit a rec letter or any updates, fine, do it. But again, the actual content of the appeal is less important than just submitting the appeal itself. I also have a super thorough post about transferring, so if you want to start somewhere else and then enroll at UT, you're welcome to do that. You can also Google internal transferring. Just Google like internal transfer, the major you want to go into at UT, and those colleges and schools, computer science, business, engineering, will have they'll tell you what you need to do if you're deciding whether to enroll at UT in your second major or through liberal arts. So I don't want this video to go on super long. I need to upload it soon. I have bad internet, so I don't know if this will be timely. But anyways, again, I just want to reiterate that your admissions decision does not define you. And I'm working with current transfers right now, and just universally, I know this seems like the end of the world, but I promise you, 6 months or a year from now, especially after you graduate and you've moved on and figured out your alternative options, this will all seem like water under the bridge. So just give yourself the space to vent, to be angry, to do what you need to do. But I promise that the storm is going to pass. Like, nobody is ever perpetually in catastrophe or in disappointment. And so just do what you need to do for the next week or two, and then focus on being constructive about your next steps. The transfers I'm working with now, I can't tell you the number of essays I read that are like, getting CAP was a blessing in disguise. I'm thankful that I've had the opportunities I've had at my current university, and I'm transferring because I feel like, UT is still my top priority. My options here are limited, but I promise that life does go on. Your admissions decisions do not define you, and it's up to you to determine how you want to handle the stress and the anxiety, because this won't be the first time that you're told no. So I just encourage you to practice self-care, stress management, try and get a good night's sleep, eat ice cream, have your favorite dinner, yell at people if you need to, but just, you can't linger on this decision. So whatever options you have, I hope that they're fruitful. And I encourage you to go into this next chapter in your life with an open mind and be optimistic. You don't have to be that right now. I understand, like, you can be super angry, stay in your room, whatever, but at some point, start evaluating your next steps. And if you do want my help, please reach out in May or June, because at the moment I'm not taking any phone calls or any extended emails. So I hope this message finds you well, and that I wish you a good night's sleep and a great weekend.